All right, so before I make this video today, I already know that there are gonna be some people that really disagree with what I'm gonna say, and that's okay, I get that. It's necessary to talk about these things so that we can exchange our thoughts. I share some things with you, you share some things with me, we learn from each other. But I've come to an understanding that people who are really successful as freight brokers and truck drivers, because we just have to face it, most people are not successful in this business. In business, period, most people are not successful. So there's a difference between freight brokers and truck drivers who do this business successfully and those who don't. So I try to, as a business owner, to find out what those commonalities are. What do people have in common that make $150,000 in net income, your money, after taxes? What do these people have in common? And what I've come up with in my own mind might be a little bit shocking to you. What I've realized is that people who make that type of money, and I don't mean just make that money 1 year or a couple of years. I mean, you've been making that money at least 3 years now. You've been in business for at least 5 years, and your business is growing. You are flourishing in the business. Your customer base is expanding, right? So that is what I'm talking about when I'm saying a successful freight broker or truck driver. Now, what do these people have in common? Well, what I've found is that they are me first people. I get accused of being selfish, especially when I talk about topics that have to do with money and business. People say, oh, Brandon, that is so selfish, right? Well, the reality is, I believe that you have to be selfish to a standpoint, to a certain point, right? How I look at it is, in my life, in my household, my children don't come before me. My wife does not come before me. My family, period, does not come before me. Nothing comes before me, right? Now, there's a reason for that. The reason for that is because my family depends on me, right? If I'm not okay, then my family does not do as well as we can do. So I have to make sure that I am okay. I have to make sure that I'm good. My mental is good. I have to make sure that I'm physically good. I have to make sure that I am good top to bottom in order to be the person that I am to lead my family to where we want to go. That's just the bottom line. That's how it works. I don't know if you've ever been on the airplane, but if you have, I'm sure you've been through that speech where they tell you if something happens with the, if the plane loses oxygen, right? If you happen to start losing oxygen, this oxygen mask will drop from the ceiling. And they always tell you that even if you have a small child beside you, put your mask on first. Because if you don't put your mask on first to start getting oxygen to yourself, you cannot help anybody else. That's the same thing with a freight broker business or a trucking business. You have to put your oxygen mask on first. You have to go in and figure out how this thing works and give it all of your attention so that you can build it into what it is that you want to build it into, right? And you have to be self-centered. You have to start thinking about you and what's important to you, what's important to your business, what is going to allow for you to get to the next level. And before you can start helping other people, before you can start looking out for other people, you have to look out for yourself. I'm sure you understand that the first law of nature, what do they say that is? The first law of nature is self-preservation. There's nothing wrong with being selfish. There's nothing wrong with preserving self first. That is the law of nature. That's how it works. And if you don't take care of yourself, if you don't do the things for yourself that need to be done for you first, then you are going to struggle. At least that's just how I see it. That's how it's played out in my own life. I have to take care of me in order to make myself good and put myself in a good position to be able to take care of my family and friends. That's how it goes. In order to make a lot of money, you have to focus on yourself. Now, that doesn't mean that at some point you're not going to help others We all want to help others, but a lot of us want to help people, but we're not in the position to help. First, you have to put yourself in the position to help before you can give any assistance, right? People don't start out with a company that employs 1,000 people. You start out with a company, most of us might, more than likely, that employs one person. And you figure out how to get you paid consistently every month or every week, however often you're paying yourself. And then you start to look out beyond that and say, you know what? I can help someone else now. I can provide a job for someone else now. But if you can't help yourself, if you can't get yourself to the finish line, you can't get anybody else there either. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. Certainly hope this information has been helpful. If you want to get to a big income, if you want to make $150,000 in net income in your own business, which is not necessarily an easy task, but it's not the hardest task either, you have to focus on yourself. Have a great day. Have a great rest of your week. If you're interested in learning about the freight broker business, I'll leave a free link in the description. It's my 5-video series. It's titled How the Load Movement Process Works. Allows for you to come into the office with me and watch me as I move loads so that you can get a better understanding of how this business works before you come into it. And then if you're interested in learning about how you get customers, how you get the shippers that we work with on a day in and day out basis that give us those opportunities to move their freight so we can make money, I'll leave a free video right here. So until the next time, I wish you the very best in your life and your business. And you know what the deal is, right? I'll see you all the way at the top because the bottom is much too crowded.